Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So, today I'm going to share some of my thoughts from the book that I'm still reading, which is called Never Split a Difference. Maybe this is a little bit beyond the book concepts, but anyway, I would like to share in this video with you some of my observations. Stay tuned. Everyone has met someone who talks a lot and convinces you they are smart. Very few people leave a room and make everyone else smarter. Today's video is about why those two people are never the same. Most of us were taught that being smart means having answers. The world we work in now rewards people who ask better questions. That shift is the new rule. The smartest person in the room is no longer the loudest. The smartest person is the one who changes how the room thinks. In the next 15 minutes or so, we'll move from a big idea to practical behavior. We'll start with how intelligence was originally defined. We'll narrow into how real leverage works today, and we'll end with something you can use already this week. Let's start with a broad idea. I would call it the old rule. The old rule said intelligence was about knowing more than others. The ancient Greeks believed that too. In Athens, being smart meant sounding confident, quoting poets, and never hesitating. I kind of like it, right? So if you spoke smoothly, people would assume you were right. Then Socrates ruined that vibe. One day, the Oracle of Delphi announced that Socrates was the wisest man in Athens. Socrates was confused because his entire brand was, I have no idea what's going on, okay? So he did what any reasonable philosopher of that time would do. He went around the town annoying everyone. So he questioned politicians, poets, and craftsmen. He asked them to explain what they claimed to know. They spoke confidently, of course, then they spoke beautifully, and they spoke incorrectly. Socrates noticed something strange. Everyone believed they were smart because they knew things. No one questioned whether those things were actually true. Socrates reached an uncomfortable conclusion. He was only wiser because he didn't confuse confidence with understanding. Just listen to it once again. So in modern terms, Socrates wasn't smart because he had answers. He was smart because he detected fake certainty. If Socrates were alive today, he wouldn't win meetings. Such a reality, right? So he'd be kicked out of them. But the decisions would still change. Now let's talk a little bit about the shift when the information is cheap and judgment is rare. The old rule worked when information was scarce. It doesn't work anymore. Today, Google can answer literally all of your questions in just seconds. ChatGPT can summarize what you missed. Memorizing facts is no longer impressive. Interpreting them is. Smart used to mean I know. Smart now means I see what matters. This is why meetings are full of smart people and still go nowhere. Everyone adds information, and literally no one adds clarity. Now let's talk a little bit about the core principle let's call it from display to leverage. The old way of being smart was performing. You spoke early to establish dominance. You spoke often to stay visible. The new way of being smart is pretty strategic. You speak later to reframe the conversation. You speak less so your words carry weight. Smart people don't rush to answer. They pause to define the problem. They don't win arguments. They change outcomes. This is intelligence as leverage. Leverage means one idea can save 10 hours. Leverage here means one sentence can redirect a team. Let me bring you a product management example. Imagine a product review meeting. Engineering wants to ship fast. Design, on the other hand, wants to have more polish. Sales wants a demo ready next quarter. And the average PM just tries to compromise. They list the trade-offs. They summarize opinions. And nothing moves forward. The smartest PM does something simpler. They ask only one question. They ask, what problem will the user still have after we ship this? The room gets quieter. Speed arguments lose energy. Polished arguments become relevant. The discussion shifts from opinions to impact. That PM didn't say more. They said the right thing. They didn't show intelligence. They created alignment, cross-functional alignment. If we are talking about some finance business example, let me bring you something else. Now imagine a finance revenue meeting. Revenue is growing, costs are rising, margins are shrinking, nothing new, right? So most people argue spreadsheets. They debate forecasts. They defend assumptions. And we are all aware that assumptions are always wrong. And the smartest person asks, which costs scale with growth and which don't? And this question reframes everything. Some costs become investments. Others become risks. The room stops arguing about numbers. And now the room starts making decisions. Smart isn't knowing the model from ins and outs. Smart is knowing where attention belongs. If you ask me some real example, let's take a personal conflict. Most people argue facts. They try to be right. The smartest move is actually different. What are you actually worried about? Defensiveness drops if you ask this question. Understanding increases. Smart people reduce friction. They don't add to it. Let's summarize the new rules. Being smart is not about having answers. It's about shaping the right questions. Being smart is not about speaking more. It's about moving outcomes. Being smart is not about proving intelligence. It's about creating clarity. Here is what I want you to do this week. In your next meeting, speak less than usual. Write down the question everyone is avoiding. I bet there are a bunch of questions like that. But come up with one question and ask it. I bet it will change the direction in a successful way. That is how you become the smartest person in the room without ever needing to sound like it. Thank you once again for watching this video, and I hope you learned something new from today and will implement it already next week. Thank you so much. Have a good one.